Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast episode will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, please do not continue to watch or listen until you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. Ta-da! You like our new set?
Happy Halloween month.
Yes, happy Halloween month. Though we all know from the, as you put it, from the end of July to the end of October, it's Halloween.
Yes, it is spooky season.
But we have a new set, as you can see, and we're really excited. We feel a little bit more professional, slightly. Anyways, today we are covering Hell House LLC 2. But before we go into the review, let's grab our cups and talk about tea. So today, I am drinking the Plum Deluxe tea, the Portland Rose City Chai. It's got black tea, rooibos tea, Oregon, rose petals, cardamom, ginger, cinnamon, lemongrass, blackberry, and almond essence. And I'll put it behind good old Michael here. He's always a guest on the podcast. And I'm using my Please Don't Kill Me mug.
And I'm using its twin in the set, the I'm Going to Kill You at Some Point mug. And I am drinking Plum Deluxe's Queen's Blend green tea. It's got green tea, apple pieces, orange peels, blue cornflowers, calendula, bergamot oil, lemon essence, and vanilla essence. This one does have caffeine as well. So, thank you, Plum Deluxe.
Yes, thank you, Plum Deluxe, for allowing us to continue to do what we love. And for our tea sippers out there, brew yourself a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy the review. I just realized I have not created any summary for any of the movies that we're covering today. So
I've got this one.
Okay, go for it.
So Hell House LLC 2 is a continuation of Hell House LLC, of course. So it is another found footage kind of film that's put together almost like a documentary / 48 hours or snapped kind of show.
Yeah, it's like news footage and found footage.
Yes. Yeah, and it's all slapped together. So it's a very unique way of putting together a movie, but it does draw you in and it changes scenes enough to keep your interest. So, but these people start out on a talk show saying that they're never going to go to that house, that it's kind of a weird thing. People keep disappearing at the house. They have someone on there who they believe to be a member of the town council that's warning them away from doing anything and saying he's acting as the skeptic, saying there's no paranormal activity or anything. It was just a malfunction that happened the previous time, but it is abandoned, so people need to stay away from it. And they end up going there anyway to try to find,
of course,
any kind of evidence of weird stuff going on, and they of course get trapped
and die. I guess it's kind of like a purgatory almost.
Sort of, yeah.
But, yep. So for entertainment, I'll be interested to hear how your opinion differs, because I happen to know Jess's opinion on this movie and another movie we are covering. But for me, even though I really like the fact that this movie does expand on the lore a little bit more, and the lore actually makes sense and is interesting, I like the setup and the way that they did the first movie a little bit better. So I think I did the first movie like a 7.5. This one I'm giving a 7.25. Like it's pretty high up there. And as far as sequels goes, pretty good. But as far as like comparability, I guess, because the first one, it's like, here is the footage that happened and we're explaining what happened to these people. Well, this one, it copies a similar formula, but that formula doesn't apply quite as well to this situation. And that's why it's like almost felt like a cookie cutter of the first one. But, you know, the fact that they did expand on the lore, and they even had like the hotel owner, like kind of, it's kind of a weird moment because whenever it like showed him in the news interview, I'm like, is that the hotel owner? Like, why is he like, and then he like appears later and like starts explaining stuff. And so it's like, I like that they still do stuff to keep it fresh. But I will say the scares are still really good in this movie. I feel like there was maybe one or two that I was like, I don't feel like you quite earned that scare, but it still follows a very great formula of suspense, like the first one where it's either you're not expecting it and it turns the camera, or I like that the fact that the majority of the jump scares are not like, "Whoa,
Yes.
jump scare."
Exactly. They're not accompanied by a giant noise.
Yes, and I will say the scare where they're in the bedroom and you see the girl like have her that was way better than the first one where it's like the guy was in the bedroom and you see the girl you're like, I know someone's there, but it's like with that one, that gave me goosebumps. I was like, no.
Or the clown thing walking by.
Yes,
The doorway.
Yeah, that was awful. And then, like, the clown is slowly coming closer, and it's, like, the strobing light, so you can't tell 100% where it is. It's just like, ah. So, yeah, this movie definitely is worth a watch. They've got some, like, as far as, like, found footage and stuff like that, I think they set up the scares really well. I almost wish for this one, they would have made it, like, a mixture of like the news footage and then like actual like film rather than it being like a found footage. But it's like the first one, it makes sense for it to be found footage, but this one made slightly less sense. But I'm glad that they at least like, it didn't feel like a ripoff on the first one. Like this fact that
It
they
felt
continued
more like an expansion.
Exactly. So.
Okay. So I also give it a 7.25.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Yes. The more I watch it, the more questions I have. So I feel like my ratings started a little higher at first. And then after watching it a few times, I'm like, I have questions. But I do still appreciate that it's one of the few movies that their scares are more subtle. And it is a film that makes you look in the background, not just at the people who are talking in the frame. So you're constantly looking around them, trying to see what's going on, see if you notice anything coming up to them. There's random cloaked figures that'll just start standing up behind people, or the scary spirit girl who's in the dining room and then turns her head.
I did not like her.
And then is standing there, or she's the same girl, blinks at them when they think she's a prop.
Yeah.
And the clown thing is always creepy. I don't appreciate that thing.
No.
Well done. Well played. But
And I like the way that they do it. It's like, even if you're not afraid of clowns, you still won't appreciate.
I
You're
don't
just
like
no.
that.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that they don't make every little scare accompanied by a giant noise or have it all be jump scares. A lot of it is atmospheric. So we don't see enough of that, especially lately. So that's really appreciated and makes the movie a lot more enjoyable. That being said, some of the effects were kind of crappy. most of the gore kind of stuff was fairly well done. I feel like the eye thing was kind of, it's been overdone a little bit.
Yeah.
But the portal to hell.
Yeah. That looked pretty bad.
Honestly, that always just makes me laugh. Not gonna lie. Like, it's not scary.
Yeah,
that one could have been done a little better.
That's kind of what takes away from the movie. And it's like, in my perspective, it's like, if you can't make an effect like that look really good, then, like, rework it to where it's something else. Or, like, like, lean into your strengths.
Yeah.
Don't show your weaknesses.
When it's that level of it's going to make people laugh instead, in that situation, less is more.
Yeah.
So you don't even necessarily need to show the portal to hell. Just maybe have some fire starting in certain areas.
Or you have like a bright light in another room that looks like really ominous, like red light, and then
have the cloaked figures start showing up. Like, less is more.
Ooh, like what if like you see the cloak figures come out and you just see like their silhouette? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you can work around that stuff.
And maybe have the dummies that aren't supposed to move stand up too.
Oh.
Yeah, things like that would really go a long way for sure. So, but the other scares were well done. I've got some issues on the realism scale, of course, but and common sense is just not that common in this movie. Yeah. But all in all, it is still an enjoyable movie and definitely worth at least one watch. So, I will say though, I'm surprised you mentioned the strobing effect and how you liked it.
Well, I know that's in the first
dummy.
one.
Mm-hmm. I hated the strobing effect.
Oh, really?
Yes, I always do. In movies and actual like haunted houses and stuff, I hate strobe lights. They're annoying.
Like, I will say, for me, it depends on how long it goes. And I think the reason why I was okay with it with this scene is it maybe went on slightly longer than I would have preferred, but it wasn't like super long. Because I know like going through haunted houses and stuff, sometimes they have the strobing light go for like an entire section and you're like, please turn it off.
Yes.
So for me, it's more like the shorter amount of time I can stand it because it hasn't gotten to the point where it's irritating.
Yeah, well, it almost immediately gives me a headache, so I hate it. And it's not scary at that point. It's annoying.
Well, in that case, as like an alternative workaround to a scene without strobing, it could have been like them with a flashlight or the camera light where it's like they turn, see the clown, and they turn and like run away.
Yeah.
And then they turn, and every time they turn back, the clown's in like a different area.
Yes.
So that would
have been better. Almost like a weeping angel kind of thing.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been a hell of a lot more terrifying.
Yeah.
That would have been better. But yeah, that's what I got on entertainment.
Realism. I mean,
I've got questions.
Yeah.
So many questions.
This is definitely one of those movies where, like, the lore in some ways almost gives you more questions, because whenever the owner of the hotel was explaining, it's like, oh, they stay with us, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I wanted him to expand on what that meant. Mm-hmm. Like, are they alive and just, like, zombified, or are they, like, dead and their spirits are trapped? But then it's like, but then what about, like, the whole hell portal? Like, how do you decide who goes into the portal, who doesn't? And, yeah, so it's like that kind of brought up more questions than answers in a lot of ways. And then also, it is one of those movies where you're like, don't do that. That's really dumb. You're gonna die. And they do the thing.
And a lot of them are saying, this is really stupid. We shouldn't be here. And they still do the thing.
Yeah. It's like, at least in the first movie, their motivation was the fact that they were trying to, like, they had put their heart and soul into trying to keep this thing up. And I know...
and
like,
it's their livelihood. I mean...
Yeah. Like... It's like in the first movie, they can play it off on, oh, these creepy things happening. It's just because we're paranoid and we're in a hotel that has like a backstory to it and stuff like that.
And it's been abandoned a while. Like,
yeah.
It's dusty, dirty, dilapidated.
Yeah, but it's like in this movie, they clearly know something is up with the hotel. Like, there have been now multiple instances of stuff happening to people. And they're like, oh, we really shouldn't go in, but let's go in. Oh my God, something's happening.
Boarded up. Oh, they have cops watching it.
Yeah.
All the time in shifts.
Yeah. Just the fact that the motivation is a bit more rough and they're literally saying we shouldn't be doing this and they do it anyways. I'm thinking like a 2.5. And the part that like brings up the realism, I will say that any injuries that do occur, like it looks more realistic. Though whenever they show like the dead people, like the girl at the piano or whatever, like those effects, they were definitely leaning more towards creep factor than realism because it didn't look realistic at all.
Yeah.
So probably a 2. I feel like a 2 is
still better than
fair.
we've seen as far as special effects go.
Yeah. 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 Like their practical effects are pretty strong.
Definitely.
It's just the CG that they should have cleared away from.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll go back to a 2.5, but that's what I got.
I'm a hold strong at a 2.
We almost had the same rating. Dang it.
Almost. Yeah, but I just have so many questions. I don't understand. I guess maybe the ghosts or demons or whatever are able to turn on the cameras on the walls at will, just whenever it suits them. Same with the lights. Like, the place shouldn't have electricity at all. Yeah. But okay. They're able to use the strobe lights and cameras and move doors and things. I really don't understand. I feel like they should have expanded on this. Are the victims predetermined?
They kind of made it seem like that way.
Like, either that or do they reach through time and space to draw the people there?
Yeah.
Or, like, once they capture the souls, does that reach back in time and affect their decisions to that point? Or...
I don't know.
Or what? Like, it seems very arbitrary there. But if they are predetermined, why those people?
Well, plus, like, what's the ghost's motivation for messing with, like, the lights? Because I do remember there's a scene where they're like, oh, the lights are on, but we're not supposed to have power.
Yeah.
And it's like, what would be the point in the spirits of the hotel doing that?
Yeah.
Like, spoopy. Like,
yeah.
Don't you want them to think that the hotel is normal up to the point where you can, like, get them?
Yeah.
Rather than, like, scaring them right off the bat as soon as they walk in.
Well, and that's why I don't understand. In a couple of different scenes, like, the door opens for them to come in.
It's like, welcome.
Yeah, and they still go in.
They're like, oh, how nice.
Okay, that was kind of weird. This is fine. I'm going to go in. Okay, at this point, you deserve to die. You're just asking to die at this point. I just don't understand. I can understand random people breaking in on dares or just because. That's fairly accurate, especially for an abandoned building like that. And especially one that, like, you hear things about all the time. It's like the neighborhood haunted house kind of thing. So I get that. But the people not noping out when they see doors opening on its own, or it's not locked up or anything when it's supposed to be boarded up, it's a little harder to swallow, especially when they make mention several times of there's supposed to be cops watching this place.
Yeah.
Almost constantly. When they say that maybe the cops didn't check the fridges in the basement, I'm calling bull. Because if they're searching for evidence, they would have been very thorough.
Hopefully. If they're
They
good
should
cops.
have been. Yeah, they should have been more thorough. The sweet gay couple who knew something was off and kept saying, we shouldn't be here. This place is boarded up. Something's not right. Something's wrong with her. And they keep going after her instead of calling the cops to deal with it or anything like that. No. Why go after her? You don't know her. You don't know if she's involved in something really bad and luring you there. Even if it's not paranormal.
Yeah.
No. The chick that was terrified of going anywhere near the place, and they told her to stay out and keep a watch, she comes in with basically no argument when she hears someone on the walkie saying, hey, we could use an extra set of hands. No.
Yeah.
No. So if there's a known issue of doors closing and not letting people out, why have people either A, not barred the doors completely to prevent entry from anyone going in, or B, taken the door off the hinges entirely?
Fair.
Why has no one done that?
Spoopy.
Like, if they know that this is a problem, especially the dude that edited the tapes and all and was showing them the way around, if this is a potential issue, why not remove the door completely? All it takes is a screwdriver. That's it. It's really not that hard.
Yeah.
Just saying. I honestly also don't understand why the place hasn't been seized or condemned or knocked down altogether.
Yeah, it does not look safe in there.
It's not. And they're wasting public taxpayer dollars on cops having to watch the place on shift constantly. So that doesn't make any sense. Also, with constant disappearances for the place, it is a much bigger hazard than it's worth leaving there.
Yeah, because from a rational person's perspective, or even the city's perspective, it's like, even if they don't believe in the actual haunting, they're like, there are not so great people that are hanging around this place and committing crimes by kidnapping people, murdering them, or something. Mm-hmm. So might as well make it inaccessible by destroying it.
Yes.
The only thing I could think of is if somehow it was considered a historical landmark in the city, that would make them a lot less reluctant to tear it down. But they
didn't mention anything like that, though.
Yeah, and the fact that they haven't been keeping up with it too, that also indicates that that's likely not the case. So it's why?
Mm-hmm. Doesn't make that much sense. When the nooses appear for the psych dude, Brock, and he's just like, okay, this is cool. Let's get started talking to the ghosts that are obviously pissed off and homicidal. This is fine.
Yeah.
It did make me laugh unreasonably hard, though, when he was like, this is fine. I'll just ask it. Spirit, are you lying to me? Spirit, do you mean to do any of us harm? Completely expecting, no, you're fine. Dude, they made nooses appear in the same room that you were in. I'm pretty sure that's not a, oh, here you go, here's a bit of rope for you, just, in case you need it kind of thing. No. This is a you walked into the wrong place kind of thing.
Yeah.
Welcome to your death. I also want to know why they didn't immediately start just taking boxes out. The group that was looking for evidence. Instead of sitting there for however long and digging through each of the boxes, why not just take the boxes with you and dig through them later?
Yeah. That way they wouldn't have to worry about the cops. They wouldn't have to worry about the ghosts.
And if the dude knew there was an even remote possibility that this was orchestrated by the hotel, why would he risk coming within 100 miles of the place?
Yeah.
Like, if he knows that it lures people, why would he ever go back there again?
Yeah.
No. Just draw the people a map. No, I'm not walking you through the place. I'm not showing you where everything is. You can find it yourself. Here's the layout. Have fun. Yeah. Also, why not try to break a window?
Yeah.
No one ever tries to break a window. I know the place is boarded up, but it's a hell of a lot better than just sitting in a room and attempting to find where the balcony is.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously not going to get anywhere near it. A fall out of a 2-story window is probably not going to kill you.
Yeah. It's going to hurt, and you
It would hurt a
might
lot.
break a bone or two.
You might, but
Also depends on how you land.
it's better than death.
Yeah. Guaranteed
So-
death or potential major injury.
Yes. Very potential. So, just saying. Yeah, but that's what I got.
Well. Yeah, it's like overall, I definitely think it's a movie worth watching.
It is.
But it's like out of the found footage family, it leans towards the better end, but there are the flaws that a lot of found footage movies have that kind of creep into this one, I feel like.
There are holes.
Yeah. So it's like, at least for me personally, if I had to choose the first movie or the second movie, I would definitely choose the first one. Just because it just overall makes a little bit more sense. But I do like the fact that the lore is expanded on this one.
That's fair. Yeah. I do like that as well. We might get to the third one at some point. I'm kind of dreading that one, honestly. But the first two are definitely ones to see, for sure.
Yep.
I agree with Alyssa. It is on the better end of the spectrum, but there are still better found footage movies.
One that we'll be covering later.
Yes.
But thank you for joining us today, and let us know what you thought of the movie. If you'd like to recommend a movie, game, or tea, you can leave us a comment or join our Discord. And if you'd like to keep up to date with our content, you can find our link tree listed below.
And if you'd like to support us monetarily, we have a Teespring available and our PayPal donate button, as well as our affiliate link with Plum Deluxe. It does not affect the price of the tea. It just allows us to continue to do what we love. And you can find all of the sites mentioned linked below. But until the next time, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy.
Bye!